Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to our conversation from home. I'm Brenda Reese, and we have Rick Reese and Mariano Nandine and Laura Cross. We're here to tell you exactly what we're so excited about with Surge365. So we're going to start off with Laura. She's going to share a little bit with us today. Laura?
Thank you, Brenda. I'll pull up my slides here. So one of the things I wanted to share with you guys, I'm sure a lot of you out there have heard of timeshares or travel share properties, or you might have even been roped into going to one of those. This one is the Grand View in Las Vegas, okay? And back in 2007, around Halloween time, when, Dakota was gone camping, I went with a friend and we went to Vegas for the weekend. So long story short, these are gorgeous properties. You're talking about your home away from home. You can see you have a full kitchen, you got the bedroom. This happens to be a 1-bedroom. You have the full living room. These are all normally mostly 4 or 5-star properties, top of the line, and you have all the amenities and everything. If you were to go stay at one of these, they can range anywhere from $200 to $400 a night in cost, which is how they justify it when you go to these timeshare presentations. Oops, and my screen does not want to advance. All right, Rick, my screen's not going. Oh, there we go. Okay, so anyway, 2007 was when I wound up buying the timeshare, the Grand View at Las Vegas, okay? Like I said, if you know me, you know I lost my husband. We didn't have a whole lot of chance to travel for pleasure, and I thought, wow, what a great opportunity. Back then I had this property I could go to. And back then, we used to just be travel agents that worked from home. That was the only thing that we had available to us, was to work as a travel agent. So what I wound up with was the 1-bedroom. It was for 1 week every 3 years. Now, when they take you through this whole spiel, which they tell you will take 90 minutes, and if you don't cut them off, it will take about 3 hours of your life. But they first came up and they said, hey, you could have this for $30,000. And when they look at it as this would rent for $300 a night, you're staying for a week, that's $2,100. How many times you use it is kind of how they go to justify the price. Well, I told them no. And then you get sent to another guy. And then this guy says, well, we can do it for $5,000. I thought, well, okay, 2 trips, 2.5 trips, 3 trips, that would be paid for. And at the time I was in a different, position. So I went ahead and purchased it for $5,000. It was the first timeshare I had ever bought. I did not realize I only owned 1 week every 3 years, because they were talking about bonus weeks that I had in between. But I didn't realize that the bonus weeks were going to cost me an additional $199 or $249 to go stay at these properties. Now, this one I didn't wind up too bad, only because the yearly maintenance fee on this is about $131 now. It was less. I have come across people that have bought timeshares that their maintenance fees are like $250 every 3 months. And it gets to be phenomenal, okay? And then if turns out that I can't get to Vegas, but I want to exchange it for another property, it would still cost me $199 to exchange that for another property to go stay somewhere else. Okay. And the way these things work is, if you don't use them, you bank them, you have a year or 2, sometimes 3 years to use them. If you don't, you lose them. Okay. So we went to this, and then 2008, we came across Worldmark by Wyndham. Dakota said, we'll go listen to them because they offered you $75 for Sportsman's Warehouse and this and that. And he says, but we're not buying anything. Okay. We went and listened to their spiel, but now they're talking that we own 10,000 credits. Well, actually it was 8,000 at the time, but 10,000 credits each year can be used at any Worldmark property all over the world. Okay, so you're not tied to one property anymore. Now we have the flexibility of going anywhere we want to. They leave you alone, they talk. Dakota says, hey, we need to do this. Okay, so we bought a travel share. So there is a difference between timeshares and travel shares. That timeshare, you own that 1 week, that one property. Travel shares, I have credits, I can go anywhere. I'll let you do the math. We refinanced it somewhere halfway through, and basically it was about $1.68 per credit. Okay, and we did this back in 2008. As we know, for most people, life happens. Best laid plans didn't happen. We didn't get it paid off the way we wanted to. I finally paid it off about a year ago, and so it's paid in full. But now their monthly travel dues are up to $90 a month. Now, when you have these properties, these are not something that you can just easily get rid of. They're a lot like owning a house, and you have to find someone else that's willing to buy it and take it over. And again, you have the credits to use. If you don't use them, you lose them. I have learned to use them in conjunction. A lot of people ask me, why don't I sell people my timeshare, my travel shares? I said, because I can't, because what I have with Surge365 as a member offers you so much more than what a travel share or a timeshare can ever do. The membership is in part of our travel owner package. It's a one-time fee of $499, and it's $99.95 monthly subscription thereafter, okay? But you have access to a whole lot more than properties, and I'm going to show you what the membership looks like and the stuff that you have. Plus now we have a reward trip. So on top of all of that, you stay active for 12 months. They're going to reward you with a 7-night reward trip that's in some of these locations. Some of them have bedrooms and kitchens. They're normally 4.5 stars. You have over 3,000 properties to choose from. Okay, so this is what the membership site basically looks like. And so not only do you have hotels, cruises, cars, flights, homes are your Airbnbs, activities. I mean, I can book hot air balloon rides or whatever I want to find, fly fishing. There's lifestyle, there's restaurants.com. It's limited. I mean, it's unlimited kind of what you can do with this. I can shop online at over 75,000 stores. I earn reward credits. I have a lot more flexibility for a whole lot less money. And the thing I love about this is you'll see I have an arrow here at the marketplace. The marketplace, and here's for timeshare owners. So the membership actually gives me that flexibility. Okay, because if I know I'm not going to make it to Vegas because I own the first week in April, and our red carpet event is normally the last week of April, so it doesn't normally coincide with me using that. I normally use my travel shares and stay at that property for that. But so if I can, I don't want to go to Vegas back to back twice in 1 month. So a lot of times I wind up not using it. So I can actually go in here. The marketplace allows you to post up your timeshare that you own, and people can bid on it. I could put up my week that I own and say, hey, I want $400 for the week. Somebody could come back and say, well, would you take 200? Would you take 300? You can actually bid on these kinds of properties. And the other thing with the timeshare, here's your options that you have if you're a timeshare owner and you have a membership. Remember, I told you normally you have a use it or a lose it kind of thing. So what you can do through Surge, if you have a timeshare property, is we have the first thing that's called voice, which means I go in and I put in my 1 week that I own, when I own it, that it's a 1-bedroom, and my maintenance fees are paid. So it'll go in, it'll tell me what the value is. The last time I looked, it's worth over 44,000 something credits. And then that gives me 18 months from that time once it's approved. That cost me only $75 to deposit it doing that way versus the $200 to convert it or anything else, okay? And then I can use those credits for whatever I want. I can use it for another timeshare property. I can use it for booking a flight. I can use it for booking hotels. Anything I want to do through the membership, I can use those reward credits to do. Now I can also exchange it for free. There's absolutely no fee to exchange it through the membership. And when you do that, now I have 5 years, okay, to exchange it, but that's going to exchange it for another timeshare property, which is fine. Okay, because all you got to do is tell them no. You don't have to sit through those things. You just go and enjoy the property. Or like I said, I can post it up on Marketplace. But if you go onto the membership and the timeshares, there are a ton of timeshare properties that are available, and they are all over the world. So I would not ever try and sell the timeshare and travel share. They're all paid in full. I own them. I just use them in conjunction with what I have, because there's no way in good conscience I could ever sell that to somebody when I know they have so much more available with Surge365 and being a member. Okay. And as I'm hoping you can see, between the thousands of dollars compared to this, that's less than a cell phone. the value is so much more. And if you are a timeshare owner, it gives you a lot of flexibility to be able to use that timeshare property for other things rather than just lose that investment, which we lost that investment for several years. I no longer do that. I have options now, and now I can make it work for me. So I hope you can see the value that I see in the membership, because it really is an awesome deal, especially if you're someone that loves to travel and go around and see the world.